Hi, and welcome back to Algebra 1. Our goal for today is to start to look at linear relationships. And in Chapter 6, when we talk about linear relationships, we're talking about relationships that form lines when we make a picture version or a graph version. So to help us with those linear relationships, we need to have a basic understanding of three things. How to take what's called an ordered pair, and graph it in a coordinate plane. Or if we have a point in a coordinate plane, can we identify its location as an ordered pair? Can we identify a linear or a line relationships x and y intercept, which are two important points on our graph? And can we describe the rate of change, or what's called the slope, of that linear relationship? If we have a basic idea of these three tasks, then our remaining portion of our chapter will be easier. We'll have a better understanding of what we're looking for when we graph our linear relationships. So for today, we're going to start with our how do we go about graphing a point in a coordinate plane and writing an ordered pair from a point in a coordinate plane. So basic vocabulary here to get started. A coordinate plane just looks like this. It's what you guys might call a grid. All right, so the entire picture here is a coordinate plane. That coordinate plane is broken up into four what are called quadrants. And the reason that it's broken up into four quadrants is because of the axes, right? And the two axes intersect, creating four sections. So this horizontal axis here is called the x-axis. And this vertical axis going straight down the middle, which is labeled down here as number 5, is our y-axis. Now this magic place where these two intersect, I'll put a point here just so we can kind of see it. It has an ordered pair of 0, 0 is called the origin. And now we should see that there are four sections created from our axes called quadrants. Now, if you have a hard time remembering which quadrant is quadrant 1, which one's 2, which one's 3, and which one's 4, if you draw a big letter C for coordinate plane, right? This is a coordinate plane, big letter C on there. Then your letter C takes you through the quadrants in order, right? So our letter C starts right here, which means this top right is quadrant number 1, which we use Roman numerals for our quadrant. So it would look like that. Then I'm going to follow, right? I'm following this C, and I get over here, right? That next section, that's quadrant number 2, which is the top left section. And then I'm going to keep going, and then I get down here into this section. That's quadrant number 3. And then finally, the end of our C, which would be this bottom right quadrant, which is quadrant number 4, which is IV in Roman numerals. So again, if you're forgetting that order, big letter C for coordinate plane helps you remember that order. So a couple of goals for today. If we have a coordinate plane and we're given what's called an ordered pair, can we put a point in the coordinate plane where that ordered pair would be located? If we have a point that is already in the coordinate plane, can we identify its location as an ordered pair, which is a pair that is in the format of x coordinate, comma, y coordinate? Or can we identify its location? Is it in quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis or on the y-axis? So our steps for today, go ahead and fill in your blanks. The big thing you have to remember with these ordered pairs is our ordered pairs are always in the format of our x coordinate, comma, our y coordinate. Or how far did we move right or left, comma, how far did we move up or down? Always from the original starting location of the origin, so be careful. So when we look at our ordered pairs here, I'm going to go back to my coordinate plane photo. So when we look at our, I don't know what's happening. Why did it do that? I apologize for that disappearing on us. See? Okay, there we go. So when we look at our coordinate plane here and we look at our ordered paired version, if we're up here in this top quadrant number one up here, then we have to have both a positive x coordinate and a positive y coordinate, or our movement would be to the right and up. When we go to quadrant number 2, our x value is now negative, right? If we start here at the origin, we'd go left and then up, which would be a negative x with a positive y. All right, down here in quadrant 3, we would go left, which is a negative, and down, which is a negative. So we need both values in our ordered pair would be negatives. And then over here in quadrant 4, if we start at the origin, we go to the right, which is positive, and we end up going down, which is a negative, right? That's what our ordered pairs are going to look like for each of our different types of ordered pairs. So let's look at a problem here. If we're given ordered pairs here, and we are asked to graph our points in our coordinate plane, the very first thing is I'm going to just put like a little reference point right here on our origin. That is where we start from. So when we go to graph our point -3, 5, right, that's going to be our starting spot. So I'm going to bring my starting dot down here. That's where I have to start from. Your first number is a left or right number. If it's a negative, it's to the left. If it's positive, to the right. So right now we're going to go 1, 2, 3 left. Now I'm not making a mark yet because I still have to do the +5, which is from there we go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That right there then would represent our final location of our point. And in this case, what we're calling letter B. I want to do that again for G through X over here. So I'm going to start. Apologize. I want to start on the origin always. And so for our 10, 0, be careful here. These ones that have zeros, we tend to mess up. Remember that first numbers are right or left numbers. So the first number says go to the right a total of 10. And then from there it says don't go up or down. So that point right there would stay on our x-axis, and we would call it point G. All right, let's go to our -5, -2. Again, we want to start at that reference place of the origin. So from here to the left 5 would take us down the x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there down 2 would put us down here in quadrant number 3. All right, and we just called that our location, which was W. All right, from there we want to go to 0, 4. Again, with these zeros, be careful. We're starting here at the origin. The first number of 0 says don't go right or left. And then your second number says from there go up 4. And the most common mistake for this would be to go to the right 4 instead of up 4. It's really important that we remember this is our right left number. This is our up down number. So be careful. All right, 6, -1 says go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from there down 1. And then we would say, all right, that's our location we just called T. And then 0, 0 is right here exactly on our origin where I drew that original red dot. And we are calling that point X. All right, so we should be able to take what's called an ordered pair, which is this X, Y description, and place a point in its corresponding location in a coordinate plane. And when we're done, we would have something that looks like that for this guy. All right, we should also be able to go the other direction, which is if I have a point that is already in a coordinate plane, can I identify its ordered pair? So starting with point 8, and I always want to start from reference from 0, 0, right? I need that how far right or left, how far up or down, right? That's what we're trying to get, X, Y. So to get up here to A, we want to start going to the right first. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Since it went right, it's positive. And then from there, we went up 9. Since it's up, it's a positive. So 4, 9, not 9, 4 would describe our location for A. All right, for B, we would start by going to the left until we got to right here, which is left 7. So negative 7. And then from there, we'd go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up is a positive. So left 7, up 5 would be negative 7, 5. All right, letter C, we'd start from 0, 0. We'd end up over here going right 10. And from there, down 3, which is a negative. So 10, negative 3. All right, letter D, be careful. It's on the x-axis, which for this one says go to the right 1. Don't go up or down. So 1, 0. For letter E, we would start by going to the left 10, so a negative 10. And then from there, a down 3, which would give us a negative 3. All right, letter F, we would start by going left, and more importantly, left 3, so negative 3. And then we'd go down, which is a negative, in this case, a total of 10. All right, letter G, we'd go to the right to start, and we'd go to the right 6. And then from there, up 2. So we'd be at the point 6, 2. For H, we would start by going to the right 6. But in this case, we're going to go down instead of up like we did for G, which means we have a negative. In this case, we went down 7. All right, location I, we would start by going left 5, which would be a negative. And from there, up 1, which is a positive 1. And then for location J, be careful. We didn't go right or left. So it starts with a 0. Remember, that's your right-left number. The second number is your up-down. And then we went up 7, which would be a positive 7. So that's option 1. If we're asked to show an ordered pair, right, that's how we would write it. Now, the other part of the directions up here say to then identify a quadrant or axis, which is a separate question that can be asked for giving a description of the location. So starting with A, remember, here's my capital C. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. This will be quadrant 3. This is quadrant 4. This is the x-axis. And this guy up here is the y-axis, the vertical one. All right, so letter A then is in quadrant 1. We use a Roman numeral 1. All right, B then is in quadrant number 2. On your computer, just 2 capital I's. Point C is down here, bottom right, which is quadrant 4, IV. All right, 1, 0 is a sort of a special case here because it's not a quadrant. It's directly on our axis. So we can't give it a quadrant. We have to say that it's on the x-axis. So be careful there. All right, letter E, negative 10, negative 3, or left and down would get us to quadrant number 3. Negative 3, negative 10 is also a left and down, which gets us to quadrant 3. 6, 2 is a right and up, which gets us to quadrant 1. 6, negative 7 for H is to the right and down, which would get us to quadrant 4. Negative 5, 1 is a to the left and up, which gets us in quadrant 2. And 0, 7, again, is not in a quadrant, it's on axis, and more specifically, in this case, the y-axis. All right, you tried the 2 extra ones in your packet. Hit pause here. Try the on your owners. All right, hopefully you have your answers here. For that first screen, we should have 0, 9, negative 5, negative 4, 9, 8 for C. D's at 2, negative 9. E's at negative 4, negative 6. F is at 5, negative 2. G is at negative 2, 0. H is at 5, 3. And I is at negative 8, 4. And then that last one, A is at the location of negative 5, negative 1, or to the right, or excuse me, left 5, down 1. 3, 7, 4, negative 9, 0, negative 6, negative 7, 8, negative 3, negative 3, negative 4, 0, 10, 2, and 1, negative 10. Hopefully your ordered pairs and your pictures match up. right, I hope that helps you attack your work for today. See you guys later.